Tēnā koutou katoa, e hoa mā, e te whānau, ka rawe. In this clip, I wanted to share with you 7 tips that I've found along the way that have really helped me from giving up and prevented me from becoming too rusty in my learning of Te Reo Māori. As a quick disclaimer, I am at the very early stages of my journey towards fluency. However, I've just passed through levels 3 and 4 and I know the roller coaster ride it is because I'm still going through it now, that you wake up on a Monday and you feel like a Te Curate news presenter. Then you wake up on the Tuesday and you feel like you've lost it all. It's all gone out of the peanutty. So, in this clip, these are the 7 tips that I've found that have really helped me and that I still apply now, right here, today. Alrighty, let's get started. Tip number 7, you read correctly. I took down most of my labels around the house. Heoi, I'm pro labels, I think they're fantastic and I still have a couple of up, but this is my personal story. When I first started on this journey, I cleared everybody out of the house. I said, oh ia tō waka, don't come back for a while, I'm putting up labels. Heck, I put so many labels up around the house you couldn't tell the colour of the wallpaper. However, I found in 12 months, I still was calling the microwave, yet I'd had the label Unutira on it, so I knew something had to change. I think too many labels for me caused me just to gloss over them and nothing was sinking in. So I took down all the labels except for 2. I kept up Unutira and within a couple of days it had sunk in to the brain, it had cemented. And then I made a commitment. Every label, every object that I learn, I will never again call it the English word. So I don't refer to it as the microwave anymore, it's always the umutira. Take that label down, grab another label, chuck it up. For me, it was picture. Now I'll always call them pikitia. And rotate those labels and don't have too many. That is what helped me personally. Let's head on to the next tip. Every day we have activities that we just go through the motions with. For example, brushing your teeth, doing the night routine with your children, breakfast, lunch, dinner, could be walks around the block, washing the dishes, doing the clothes, hanging out the washing, doing the gardening. Just imagine turning one of those activities into a time where you speak out Te Reo Māori anake. Let's talk about parakuihi. Now, this is what I'm getting at. Speak out what you're doing as you're doing that daily activity. Don't be overwhelmed by this. It may start just a sentence at a time. For example, catch this. Tīkina he oko. He wīti pēki. He miraka. He huka. He panana. Tangohia ētahi o ngā wīti pēki mai I te pauaka. Raua ki roto I te oko. Ringihia te wīti pēki ki te miraka. Ruia he huka ki ronga. You get the point. This is my challenge, and this is what really helped me as well. I personally do it for the night routine or brushing teeth, as I go, oh, ko te wā waku niho, time to brush the teeth. Now I might be saying it a little bit off. I can tweak that along the way. Don't be too hard on yourself, but turn those everyday activities or routines that you do a sentence at a time in Te Reo Māori. Think what it'll look like in a year's time when you're doing the breakfast routine with your children or with your pet or by yourself and it's being done all in Te Reo Māori. That's my challenge and it's a cool tip. How fortunate are we to be living in a day and age where technology is on our side, really. At our fingertips we've got applications and online resources such as Quizlet, which help us with online flashcards and whatnot. But in order to decrease my screen time, I have gone back to these old paper flashcards. I think they are underestimated and underappreciated, and I put them in random drawers around the house, and without fail, whenever I walk past them, I'll just pick one up at random just to refresh. This one says, who will help me? Funnily enough, I'm a bit rusty on that, so I'm going to turn it over and it says, mā waio e awhina. That's right, the mā wai e sentence structure. After that, I'll just chuck it in my pocket and look at it a couple of times throughout the day. When I get home, add it back to the pack, and I've refreshed on that specific sentence structure that I was starting to forget. This is my favourite tip by far because I do it now, and I have been doing it the last few years, and it has prevented me from becoming rusty, and it has brought out all those sentence structures that I thought I had forgotten, because you're forcing yourself to kōrero in te reo Māori anake, and you're blocking everything else out. What am I talking about? I rā, i wiki rānei, kai a koe te tikanga, commit to, for me, it was 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. every Saturday. Everybody knew I was going to kōrero in te reo Māori anake. Even if I met nobody during those hours, I would still speak it out. For you, for me, let's just say 1 hour every Saturday, 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. How does this look practically? If somebody phones you and you know you can't kōrero in te reo Māori, don't answer the call. If somebody asks you, what are you up to today, and you don't know the kupu Māori more beach, then either ignore them, say kaore au I te mōhio e aua, or you can tell a white lie and say, oh, ka haere au ki te toa. The point is, take an hour out of every day or an hour out of every week and make that your hour where you're speaking te reo Māori anake. And of course the plan is to increase that over time. You'll be forced to think of sentence structures and things that you thought you had forgotten. They start coming out all of a sudden because you're getting rid of everything that is English. Limit your screen time, don't look at your cell phone, and commit to 1 hour Māori every week, and it'll do you wonders, because it certainly has helped me. This is a short tip, but it's one I'm using right now to try and double my kete of knowledge, and it's take common words like atāhua, we all know atāhua, he tino atāhua ia, and replace atāhua with another Māori word that means the same. For example, rerehua, o he tino rerehua ia, waiwaia, o he waiwaia o ngā whatu. His eyes, her eyes are beautiful. Panana. Homai te panana? Oh, homai te maika. It's just less common words. Start using those. Remember them, then you've doubled your kete. Karawe. I said in a previous clip that I've got no real problems reading te reo Māori, I've got no real problems writing te reo Māori, but when it comes to listening, kanohi ki te kanohi, somebody else speaking te reo Māori, or when it comes to my turn to answer the question that I think they've asked me, I can have a freak out. So one of the ways I've used to combat that is to speak out loud the activities that you're currently doing. For example, and you're going to come off as a little strange, but who cares, have a sense of humour. If you want to walk from this room to that room, start thinking before you get up and walk, how can I talk this in te reo Māori? Well, I'm currently walking, e haere ana, o e hikoi ana pēr, e hikoi ana au ki tērā ruma. I'm walking to that room. Start speaking out what you're doing. My tummy just rumbled. Oh, kei te hia kai au. Kei te hia au ki tētahi āporo pēr. Your thoughts that are going on here in English, speak them out in Māori. The activities, those mundane activities that you're doing every day, going from room to room, speak them out in te reo Māori. Who cares what other people are thinking? It doesn't matter. They can say you're talking to yourself, but you're learning and it's going to sink in. Karawe. My final tip, e hoa mā, it's a bit different, but if you have been hanging in there for this long, ka rawe, ka pai to you, it shows you're keen. I'll admit it, I started learning guitar purely to learn new kupu out of the waiata. That was it. Now I only know about 4 or 5 chords and I'm rusty at best. Heoi, what I didn't plan on was discovering along the way just how beautiful waiata are in Te Ao Māori and how they can be used as icebreakers and also to bring us all closer together. A lot of the lyrics, the kupu are just so deep and amazing, and when my mate comes over from Te Wānanga, before we have a kōrero kanohi ki te kanohi, we rock out he honore. It's only 4 chords. Not only is it an icebreaker, but it can bring you closer together. So my challenge is to sing more. Potentially, if you have the time, or make time, pick up an instrument and use it to further increase your knowledge of Te Reo Māori and have fun with it. And I think it's just a huge part of the culture, and I'm not looking back now that I've learned my 4 or 5 chords. It's really enhanced this learning journey for me. Ka rawe. In the last 30 seconds of this clip, if I was to sum up everything we've talked about and that I've found along the way of this journey in 2 short sentences, it would be this. Over the last couple of years, I have really tried to decrease my screen time. I am the world's worst for getting caught down the rabbit hole of YouTube, being caught down the rabbit hole of all these apps. I'm pro apps, I'm pro YouTube. However, I've tried to go back to the old school dictionaries, the pen, the paper, the flashcards, because outside of that, everything else seems to be taking away from my speaking out of Te Reo Māori, and that's the second sentence I will say. Speak more reo. For me personally, that's what I need to do. Not just think it, not just write it, not just listen to it. Speak out my daily actions, my daily activities. Decrease screen time, speak more reo. Ka rawe hoa, I hope that's helped someone. Kia pai tō rā.